What's good, YouTube? Today we're covering all the add-ons I use in WoW with the expansion Legion. So these have changed, actually, a few of them anyway, since WoD. And none of these add-ons are actually like brand new and you've never heard of them before. Most of them, if you've been playing the game long enough, you should have heard about, but they're the ones that I use in order to make my game just smoother, easier to play, more enjoyable. And we'll start off, some of these actually are PvP based, because that's mostly what I'll do. And we'll start off just by getting most of them out the way for anyone that doesn't do just PvP and wants to learn about the other ones. But Gladius. So Gladius, for anyone that does Arena, you should have heard about, because it just manages everything for you. Whether it's tracking if they've used their trinket, what cooldowns, just everything. It's just one little toolbar there. Just think of it as like a unit frame, but improved, and really it's simplified but complex in the amount of information it can quickly show you. So it makes Arena that much easier to just understand. And for anyone trying to make for their first step into Arena, maybe that you were only used to do dungeons and questing and things like that, and Legion, because of their new their PvP system and things like that, you're making a step into Arena, Gladius, I say, is a must. Some of these add-ons here, like, I honestly wouldn't be able to play WoW, or at least be able to play it as good, or have as much fun as I do, or as much control over the things that I do and participate in, if I didn't run some of these add-ons, and Gladius is one of them. So if you're doing PvP Arena, you need to have Gladius. It's not going to help you when it comes to Battlegrounds, only Arena. So that's Gladius out the way. The next one that I'll show you, most of these I'll be able to show you just from my actual point of view of my character. The next one is Bartender. So this one is useful for everyone, and everyone should be using it unless you're using something else or a different add-on that makes or that does the same thing. But Bartender is the smoothest, in my opinion, to use. As you see here, we can right click on the little icon that goes around a minimap, and you can unlock everything, all your bars, and relock them into spots. So if you unlock them, you can literally move each bar individually to where you want. So we've got bar 2. So you move him, we can put him up in the top left if we wanted to, and as it snaps back into position, you can untick that though. There's a button for that, snap, whatever, but I like to snap it so it's all centered, like right there. So we'll just relock that. But you can turn your XP bars on and off. You got your Blizzard art bar, which is how that's gone. So if I enable that, that's how you get the default, unit ability bar stuff back. But I like to turn that off just to give myself a little bit more, more of an open screen, so I can see what's going on more. I like to put all my abilities up in one group underneath my character, rather than have them spread out way down the bottom of the screen. So Bartender is amazing for things like that. But also, if we right click on it again, you see this button here called Key Bindings. Now this is where it really comes into play. Even if you don't want to, rearrange things like I have when it comes to my abilities, or your abilities, this button right here makes your life so much easier. So Key Bindings, you hit that, and by just hovering over, you can see what keybinds I have got. So say this one here, Naga 6. If I wanted to change this immediately, rather than going through my menu, keybinds, find what it is, set a new one, and then you accidentally bind something you're not meant to, and then you just unbinded something, like just making it insanely difficult defaultly. Instead of that, with Bartender, if you just right click on the keybinds, you get this up, you hover over it, you press escape. Now there's no keybinds on there. While still hovering over it, or you can move your mouse around, but just hover back over it, hit Naga 6 again, bang, set. That is how easy it is to change your keybinds. So if I'm changing characters, and things are just all over the place, setting your character up, or your class up, is incredibly easy and quick. Like, we all know how hard it is to jump onto a character with all these new abilities, especially if you just boosted or something like that, and you're trying to set them all up where you want them, and it can take quite a long time. Bartender, though, It will make setting your keybinds and just making everything look so much cleaner. So I highly recommend getting that. Moving on to add-on number 3. Now this one, again, is another PvP based add-on. I mean, you could use it for PvE as well, I guess, if you wanted to track who is using what cooldowns. But as you can see here, you can't see Omnibar as of yet because it activates when enemies use cooldowns that you want to know about, specifically in Arena or Battlegrounds, okay? So we go test here, and they'll drop this interface panel down. Bang, there is just a test kind of bunch of add-ons. So as you can see here, 11 seconds left now is a Druid Skull Bash. So if you're in Arena, you're playing a healer, right? And you're trying to get a juke, which anyone, if you don't know what a juke is, it's where you fake cast with no intention of actually finishing it, and then cancel or just move at the last second. Now what this is going to do is make another class use their interrupt, hopefully. And if they do, we'll just pop it up one more time. Say that you fake casted and you're trying to juke them. If you indeed do that, you move as they use their silence and waste it. Bang. The kick will come up. It'll highlight, as you can see, when it first comes up. It goes bright blue. And then there's just a cooldown. And when it goes away, so as you see the rogue one here, the bottom left, the kick, 10, 9, 8, 7. Now, if that goes away off your screen, you know that they've got it back up, ready to use again. So, Omnibar just makes PvP so much easier. I highly recommend that. Moving on to number 4, add-on number 4. As you can see there was numbers on those Omnibar cooldowns. And even when I cast, see if we cast this big cooldown here, there's no longer just the spindle that shows you the cooldown remaining. I actually have numbers on it. Now, this is easy to use, this add-on. It's called Omni CC. Just like Omnibar, OMNI, but instead of saying bar, it says CC on the end. All one word. And you just literally install that, and that's it. You don't touch it. It puts numbers on everything for you. It's so easy to use. So it just makes your quality of life a little bit easier, rather than so we'll get back out of stealth. Rather than having like just a spindle, as you can see, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and as it hits 1, you know it's ready to use again, and it just makes your gameplay that little bit more fluent, and you really know, when things are going to be ready to use. So that is Omni CC. Add-on number 5, we have Auctionator. So we'll run over to the auction house over here, because this one is all about making the money. So I'm completely lost. I haven't been in Warspear for ages. Here we are. Here's the auction house. So here we go. We sold some stuff, and this is all from using Auction House. So Auctionator. As you can see, we pop up here. This is normally what your auction house looks like. Fair enough, it's all good. You can have browse, bids, auctions, and that's about it. But when you have Auctionator, it gives you 3 more. So you have the more section, which I never use. I don't know what that is. Just gives you a general rundown of things. But pretty much the buy and sell items here. So if you want to go sell, we'll pop up here. I'll give you demonstrations. Say that we want to sell Storm Scale. Now, hopefully the auction house still isn't wrecked when there's like 40 pages. But what this will do, it will scan through absolutely every listing of Storm Scale and gather the information and lay it out to you in such a nice way. So it shows you from cheapest, the stack size, and it goes down or up in price as it goes down the list. And when it loads, I'll be able to show you, and you'll be able to see actually just how easy it is to use compared to the normal auction house. But when I want to list it, when it fully loads over here, I can set buy price per piece, what stack, the duration, the time, and this is generally, as you can see, the cheapest one here, 1 stack of 51. It tells you the total price over here. So I can in fact buy that right now, even though I'm on the sell section. So it just makes things like that real easy to use. And just as a default, as you see the price, 11 gold 80 per piece. Just by default, mine has set itself to 11 gold 79. Discount I think I set that, but normally it just undercuts by 5%. I've set it to undercut just by that little bit more because you don't want to have major cuts in price, because then people start listing stuff cheaper than yours. All of a sudden you're bringing the price down of auctions when you want to keep them as high as possible. Yours is going to come up on the list, as you see, as the cheapest one, even if it's 1 copper less. So that's Auctionator. If you want to buy things, it even keeps your recent searches on hand. So say we want to buy Obliterum, just bang, hit it, and it will search for whatever letters in that order that you typed in, and it scans the pages and brings you the cheapest straight to the top of the screen, so you get to buy it. So it's so much easier to use than a general auction house. I highly recommend rocking Auctionator. So I'm not going to buy that because they're 4K each. Okay, so that is Auctionator. Another PvP based one, but this one's not for Arena. It's only for Battlegrounds. Is Battleground targets. So I'm not going to be able to get it up. I'll have to show you actual gameplay of a Battleground. But what it does, it's just a big window. Well, not even that big really, but it will just show you who's on the other team, what spec they are playing, how many healers they have, and just gives you a general rundown of the team you're versing. Now, why is this important? A lot of people will just go into a battleground, run to the center of the map, and just sit there and smash each other in the face, and no one dies. This is because there's a healer over to the side that you didn't know about or haven't discovered yet. Sure, you might work it out halfway through the battleground when you see him casting heals, but if you would have had battleground targets, like a lot of people do that do consistent battlegrounds or RBGs especially, you would see that, say Warspear Grunt over here, old mate Warspear Grunt, on your window, it would say one tank. They have a tank at the top. Now his name can be anything. He can be Warspear Lieutenant as the one's walking next to him. So he's their tank, probably going to run the flag. So it will tell you that. Then it will say they have 3 healers, and one of them is old mate Warspear Grunt over here. And on the window, it'll tell you his name. So when you're running around the battleground, if you see Warspear Grunt over there, the Resto Druid, you know he's the healer, and you need to go and take him out because he's just going to keep their whole team up. So it just makes Battlegrounds so much easier to understand and especially win, because if everyone knows who the healer is and things like that, they know what role they're going to be doing and who to target. So Battleground targets, download that one. Moving on, we only have 4 left, a total of 10, like I said, add-ons for this video. And this one is Quartz. So this is a pretty fun one to use. Well, not fun, and you don't really need this at all, but this does add a lot of aesthetics to your UI, I guess. So over here, we'll set this guy's focus. Actually, I forgot about one add-on. I just remembered. We'll talk about that right now. My unit frames. This is shadowed unit frames. So there's obviously a not default. It's showing you a picture and things like that. We'll pop up the options. Shadowed UF is how you get the options up. And we'll unlock the frames here. This is the rundown of it. So that looks a bit scary. And you do have to set this up a little bit, but it just makes everything so nice to do when you do set it up. So you can go through and let it take control of whatever you want. So I've got it set to handle my raid over to the left, my player, my pet, targets and things like that. And you can even set it to handle your arena, but I do not want that. I want Gladius to handle arena. Actually, if we put, yeah, so it puts your stuff there. So it's pretty much just another Gladius, but I like Gladius just as it's so much easier to use. But we'll lock the frames there to get rid of all the scary looking stuff. But if we go to enable configuration, as you see, player here. So you can turn the picture on and off. I like the pictures on, it's pretty cool. But more importantly, up the top, you've got all these very nicely laid out kind of settings. So if you go to the frame, you can actually, we'll just remember it's on 120% so we don't stuff things up. You can actually, manually set everything to just how you would like it. So set it back to there. And you can do like even the tiniest of settings. So I can change the height, the width, the scale just completely. I can move it left or right or up or down and things like that. We also have the bars. You can set what bars you want on there. Widget sizes. Now this is the nice one. This is for anyone that finds it kind of difficult to track exactly what buffs you have up, because they're normally up in the top right hand side near your minimap, or what debuffs the other player has that you have targeted. Shadowed unit frames makes this so nice to handle, because I can go to buffs, general, positioning, and as you see here, I position everything of mine above my unit frame. So I put, that's my settings if you want to copy off them. But you can just like set it more left, more right, things like that. Just wherever you want on the screen, pretty much. So I do it for both. I have my buffs and debuffs set up above my character. My target's buffs and debuffs set up above his, which, as you see, if we put on a debuff, aka a dot, onto him, you can see that it goes just above his character there. Easy to track and see what bleeds you've got on, especially since it comes above your character now too, or above your target. But it's just nice because you might not be facing them, and you want to know if the bleed is still on them, or they're on the dot. So you can see it just above their name there. Super easy. Plus, it just goes nice with Omni CC. As you know, I told you how it'll put the countdown onto it to when it's going to fall off. So they all work pretty nicely. But that's how I get my unit frames looking how they do, shadowed unit frames. So we'll get back to what we were talking about before I remembered that extra add-on. And that is Quartz. So Quartz, if I was to cast, puts this really nice big bar down the bottom here. So what else do we have to cast? Wrath. We can cast Wrath all day. As you see, this nice bar here that even shows you the red little bit at the end as to where you can move and still get the cast off. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, go. So it really lets you min. Oh, I'm gonna die if I don't watch out there. Really lets you min max stuff. So especially when you mount, it's I can't mount right now because I got into combat, but you can just take off before the mount's even done. And other than that little, good or the positive side to it, as you can, exactly when you can move. Pretty much, it just looks better. I think it looks so good, and I've actually got one set up above my. So if I set myself to focus, which is right here, I can actually see exactly when I'm casting. Not if I'm out of range. There we go. So I have my cast bar down the bottom here, but I also have my focus's cast bar right there next to my character, pretty big and thick. So if he's casting a polymorph or something like that, I can kick it pretty easily. So I just think Quartz looks really nice, and just having that ability to make the enemy's cast bar exactly where I want and as big as I want just makes it really nice and easy to handle, and it's pretty easy to set up that one. So that is Quartz with a Q. 3 add-ons left. Down in the bottom right here, my damage tracker. Now the most popular, I think Recount used to. I always liked Scatter, which is the name of this add-on. But since then, I've seen it move up in the rankings for most downloaded add-ons, and I feel like I was right. I liked it more, and now everyone else seems to like it more. So pretty much, we'll put dots on. It's just a damage tracker. Really nice to use when it comes to raiding and things like that, to see who's pulling the most DPS. You can go to mode and literally track everything. So DPS, damage taken, healing done, energy gain and focus, like CC break, who interrupted the most, everything. You can track all that. So it's just a nice little. It doesn't really add anything to your game, other than gives you information on what's happening. So if you were to say trying or interested in doing some hard dungeons, maybe really taking mythic dungeons seriously and you're having trouble with them, or raiding any mythic raiders or someone that wants to really push raiding, you're going to want one of these damage meters, aka Scatter, just because you got to know if you're pulling enough DPS. Who's slacking maybe someone's completely just not keeping up in damage, and it will tell you, it will show you in a bar form, number form, like it will give you all the information you need, And maybe you can say to them like, yo, are you even doing your rotation right? Check out their eye level, maybe something's wrong. But it shows you all the information about each individual person in your battleground, in your raid, in your arena. It just works with everything, and every time you enter an instance, this will come up on your screen. Do you want to reset? Ticket, done. Reset, ready to go. Or you can just hit reset. You can also hit the horn here, report. So we'll do Moonfire here. And as you see, if I go report, this will come up, say how many lines, bang, report, and it will come. You'll actually say in your chat, damage done for total, over how much time, and number in order of each. So pretty much every dungeon or raid I've done this expansion, someone's been like, anyone got deets? Anyone got damage done? So I'm just like, yeah, bang, report, and I tell them what's up, and they're like, thanks. So that's pretty nice to use, and that is scatter. And we have 2 left. So one of these, which is what we're going to talk about right now, we have 2 add-ons left to talk about, is one you've probably been looking at this whole time thinking, what is that add-on? Now, Blizzard for WoW Legion changed the health bars above your above your enemies specifically as well, which is where a lot of people have trouble with it. It was these really thin bars with their name. Now, I think they look better, but they're a little bit annoying to use. So that's why I'm writing this add-on called Tidy Plates. So we'll pop the options up. Tidy Plates is pretty easy to use, and it's pretty complex at the same time. So you can set it so you have a profile for when you're tanking, when you're doing damage, healing, gladiator profile. I'm not even sure what that is, but pretty much I just go to the general settings. As you see with that theme on, you can go neon to change the look of it there. Grey, if you want one of them. Now, grey's pretty cool, but too thick in my opinion. So I just like running this one, and that's pretty much it. So I just set Tidy Plates above their name, and it just makes it look so much easier. Now, when they cast as well, I'm not going to be able to show you because this warrior is not going to cast anything, but you would actually see, this little Raiders dummy here that's going to kill me probably will actually show you what I'm trying to demonstrate, and that is their cast bar underneath their unit frame. So it was pretty hard to see with the Blizzard default health bars these days because they're really slim. They're going for a better look, but it's just a bit harder to use. So say we come up and we get in range, you can see these casting underneath. And that works for everyone. So yeah, Tidy Plates, just really nice, and gives your game a clean look. Makes it easier to click on because now you can click on the player or their health bar above them too. So in a battleground or raid and things like that, just makes everything so much easier to use and look so much better in my opinion. And you can turn off if you don't want all these ally players around. An ally meaning like your team. If you don't want all these green nameplates, you can turn them off individually or turn them on, change their colors, all that. So check out Tidy Plates. That's going to bring us to the final add-on, which is specifically for raiding. So we start off with Gladius, which was one just for PvP, but our last add-on we're going to talk about is Deadly Boss Mods. So everyone should have heard of this that's been playing WoW for a long time. But if you haven't, and especially if you're trying to take raiding seriously, just like you should have scatter, you should have Deadly Boss Mods. So you can set, I'll just pop up my add-on setting here because I'm not sure of the command, but Deadly Boss Mods Core. There's all these individual settings, but as you can see here, for Deadly Boss Mods, Broken Isles or Emerald Nightmare, the raid, it has settings and knows what abilities each boss is going to do. So it will give you a warning saying in 5, 4, 3, it'll be like Rock Fall, as I'm just making up on the spot. Rock Fall, War Spear Grunt, incoming in 5, and it counts down 5, 4, 3, 2, and it will tell you what to do. So it'll be like move, exclamation point. So you jump out the way, bang, this big rock hits here. Meanwhile, for old mate Johnny over to the side, or old mate Marusa over here, that doesn't have deadly boss mods should be sitting right in the way of Rockfall, which was in fact a one-shot because you're doing mythics, so to say. Just sitting there chilling, just like, yeah, just smacking out a bit of like 1-2 action, doing some mad damage, just staring down at Scatter here. All of a sudden, the last second, everyone runs away. She's like, what's going on? Bang, one shot. Because she wasn't running deadly boss mods. Good one, Marusa. Deadly boss mods will just make it so much easier. Like, I don't even raid that much. But even just for like the mythic dungeons and things I've been doing, you need to have it. It just makes your life so much easier. So mythic dungeons, every single boss, I'm telling you, every single boss, it will give you an indicator of what's happening. Now, it's not too big and flashy that it gets in your way. It's just this really nice, subtle, like, what's going to happen next. And it tells you what to do. So I know I was doing, what dungeon I did last night? Just so I can give you an example. So I'm just going to wrap the video up once I talk about this. So Dungeons, Legion. I did Tharen's Lair, that's it. So here. This last one, Dargruel here, he does take cover behind crystal spikes to avoid taking damage from Magna Wave. Now, reading the adventure guide's all good and things like that, but as we all know, it doesn't give you much information. It's very minuscule. What it tells you, because you don't know what a crystal spike is unless you like hover over it and read it and things like that. But deadly boss mods, on the other hand, will say, it'll say like crystal spikes incoming in 5, take cover and things like that. It just lays it out so much easier for you. I can't emphasize enough how much easier deadly boss mods will make your life when it comes to like PvE stuff, and even in battlegrounds and stuff. I believe it'll help you as well. But I personally wouldn't be able to do any type of decent content PvE, like any decently high like mythic dungeons or the raiding, which I'm going to jump into soon, and things like that, without deadly boss mods. So that's going to wrap this video up, guys. I went as into as much depth as I could, really, with these 11 total add-ons since we added shadow unit frames midway there. But yeah, I hope this helps you out. Thoroughly went through everything that I use, and you know, feel free to try them out yourself if you haven't seen these add-ons before, or you know, want to try them out again, because you know, a lot have been updated and things like that since WoD. And I'll be sure to leave, you know, all the information in the description below about where to get them, how to download them through the Curse client, just to give you a quick rundown. And with that said, we're going to end the video here, so be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.